Hello, I'm Dave, and welcome to the demo for 11 voicemail drops. If you haven't already downloaded the WordPress plugin, then head over to 11voicemaildrops.com, click on the button, get it installed, and once it's installed, you can open it up and you'll see the dashboard that looks like this. The very first step is to set up your settings. You can do that by clicking on the button here. The first input here is the username and password for this dashboard so that you could open it from anywhere in the cloud without having to log into WordPress or give up your WordPress login details if you want somebody else to help manage it. Then you have your Twilio account API keys. These are the two keys that allow you to connect to your Twilio account, which is where you'll get your phone numbers, and all the phone calls will be made from at cost, at a fraction of a penny per call. There's a nice tutorial on Twilio showing you how to generate the API keys and where to get them, which you can find by just Googling API keys Twilio. The next step is to set up your ElevenLabs API key. You can find that at ElevenLabs.io. Click on My Account and Profiles plus API key, and then paste it in there. And then, by the way, ElevenLabs is what's the system that's used to generate the AI customized voicemail messages. And then once the API key is inputted here, you can press fetch, and then all the voices you have access to can pop up here to choose from. You can choose their default voices, or you can clone your own voice and then save it in ElevenLabs and then find it and select it here. The next step is to choose which type of phones to allow sending to. We highly suggest that you block landlines and VoIP, or voice over IP, aka internet phones. The reason being is because they're not really made to do voicemail drops very well. It's not our software, it's the whole industry. Why? Because landlines, they can ring forever, and voice over IP, for some reason, when you call them and the internet phone accepts that call, it sees it as being picked up even though it keeps ringing. So it starts to play your voicemail while the call is ringing. So you definitely don't want to waste time and credits on these two. Not to say that you can't get a small percentage to get through, but it may not be worth the cost of generating unique custom voicemails for that percentage. Then there's the bulk actions. You can bulk generate the audios and you can bulk send. And the option here is delays. If I would choose no delay for generating audios to make it much quicker, and as long as ElevenLabs is not backed up with a huge amount of volume right now, then all of them will work. Worst case scenario, some of them fail because they're a little backed up, at which point you can just regenerate the ones that failed with a slight delay. As for sending, you can do no delay for quicker sending, or a random delay between 1 and 3 seconds between each voicemail drop. If you want to get better results, do the delay. If you want speed, then do no delay. But there may be, 5 to 10% lower delivery rates with no delay. If you use Blacklist Alliance to filter out phone numbers that you don't want to send messages to, then utilize that here with an API key. If you have a list of numbers, then put them on a new line per number on a do not call list and press use. This part you can ignore, it's for demo purposes only. That's it. When you're done, press save. I'm gonna refresh to reset my settings. The next step is to upload your sheet, your Excel sheet or your Google sheet. It has to be in CSV format. Here's an example of one that I made. First name, last name, multiple phone numbers. You can do up to 10 phone numbers per contact, and then you can have custom columns for anything you want to use in your customized voicemails. In this example, it's a loan company that is generating leads from multiple sources: Facebook, Instagram, Google. This is the requested loan amount. This is their submitted monthly income. You can have a lot more columns, anything you want to be able to put in the message that you send. So let's go ahead and upload it. Now you can see you have to select the columns that are the phone numbers only. Everything else will be imported, but the software has to know which ones are phone numbers. Import. As you can see, there's 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one being the name of the columns, and then the name of that sheet. So when you open it, it's going to say, please set up your script under the button variables. This is your script, basically the voicemail that is read by the AI voice. So to do that, go to variables, and here you can start typing hello, and these are the columns that you have access to add. So hello, first name. We got your request for a loan on our platform, on our site, we got your request for a loan on boom. I see you requested loan amount, and based on your income, oh my goodness, on your monthly income of boom, you definitely pre-qualify. Give me a call back ASAP so we can process your approval. Just an example. Then you'll reload and it'll pre-populate every single contact with that message. The stars are just for demo purposes to hide personal details, but in your case, you'll see the full result. So you have a few options now. You can manually generate each audio by clicking on Generate Audio. Wait a couple seconds and it pops up completed, where you can press play or download that audio. You should listen to it to make sure it sounds correct. And then you have a few options. You could send it out manually, the voicemail drop, or you could do it in bulk. You could also generate all the audios in bulk by selecting them all, press Generate Audio, Apply, and then you could choose Generate all missing audio only, or all of them including the ones that were completed. So I'll press Launch. It'll go through each one of them and generate each one with the API in ElevenLabs, and then once it's done, it'll get to 100% and tell you that it's complete, and you can press Done. Now you can see we have audios for each one. It'll ask to refresh to make sure it's there. You can play a few of them to make sure everything sounds right. It'll calculate the costs based on your package in ElevenLabs, and the next step is to send them out. So here we have a few options. We can press send voicemail, and we can choose the one to send it to and press send, and it'll send it out. And then within a few seconds, you can click refresh to see what the status is. The other option is to click on select all, click on send voicemail, click apply. In here you can choose how many numbers you'd like to send them all, send just the first two, or send the first one. And then you have the settings here to help you filter out voicemails that you don't want to leave. For example, if it's a follow-up, you don't want to send them to ones that failed or succeeded before. Only don't send them to the ones that already failed but didn't succeed, and so on. Or you can just do avoid duplicates. So if I can press next, it'll give you a drop down of all the ones that were selected for each contact. This one had 3, but we only selected the first one. And then you can press launch. You can select them manually here if you want to update it, and then press launch. And then it'll go through this screen. You don't want to close until it's completed. You don't want to switch tabs, otherwise it'll disrupt the sending, and that's the last thing you want to do until it's completed. Once it's done, you press done, and then it'll ask you to refresh in a couple seconds. Once it's refreshed, you'll see that they're not all updated yet. You can press refresh manually to see what happens. So in this case, we don't have any status. And the reason being is because we're blocking VoIP numbers, and this is a VoIP line. And you can verify that by pressing on send, click send, and you'll see that it's blocked because it's a VoIP number. Here, we're still waiting for a response. Boom, it popped up. So what you're looking for is either a success or a fail success. This is the perfect result. This means that it succeeded perfectly, because with Ringless voicemails, 2 calls go out, the second one triggers the voicemail. So you want the first one to be a no answer and the second one to be completed. And then you can check all the stats and the kind of report of what happened in the reports. First, for the audios, ignore because it's been generated before, meaning we're not trying to waste money and time generating audios that have already been done, right? So it ignores those to save you costs. And then actual voicemails, it shows blocks from sending because it's a duplicate. Remember, I had sent it out manually before we did the bulk send. This one was sent, and this one was blocked because it's a VoIP number. So that's the whole system. There is one more feature here that you might be interested in. But before I get into that one, there's also this option if you're keeping track, like a simple CRM, where it's not interested, for example, so you don't go and resend voicemails to people that have already been contacted and they have responded to you if you're doing follow-ups. The last feature here is a little feature called bait callback. You can also do it in bulk, or you can do it manually one at a time. This is a neat little feature that is made for people that want to generate inbound calls without leaving a voicemail, without spending credits on custom generating each voicemail. They just want to get inbound calls from people so that their call center only deals with inbound instead of outbound. So what it does is it double calls very quickly each contact, just so that it shows up on their caller ID as 2 missed calls. The stats show that if somebody receives a call from a number they don't recognize one time, they might not call back. But when there's 2 back-to-back calls, they are 80% more likely to call back those missed calls. And so the idea is to direct those to a call center where they're picking up inbound calls, or the other option is to have it go straight to a voicemail and you have a custom voicemail that quickly explains who you are and if they're interested to leave a voicemail. And besides that, that's the system. It's the cost for sending out voicemails with Twilio are a fraction of a penny, and then the main costs are with ElevenLabs, but it's still at cost for you. If you go to ElevenLabs pricing, you can see it starts free to the highest package, which includes 2 million credits per month. So the higher the package, the lower the cost per generated custom voicemail, and we're hoping to see these prices begin to drop as more people adapt their services. All right, if you have any questions, please email support@elevenvoicemaildrops.com. If you need help customizing or adding features, just reach out to us as well. In that case, support@saastalk.ai, and we can definitely quote you. We do have limited availability, so we can't accept all projects, but it doesn't hurt to reach out and see what that looks like. All right, looking forward to hearing from you. Good luck.